Hi, my name is Reva Siebold, and I'd like to talk today about fear of death. Fear of death underlies all fears. Oxymoron, obvious, but we do a really good job as humans to ignore it, to pretend, to play mental games. Our mind, our egos wants to live forever. But the only thing that is true in this world is there's death, there's change. There's our physical death, and there's the change and death of ideas, events. So when we resist or don't look at, which is another way of resisting, the reality of our physical death, we become afraid of loss. We become afraid of losing our bodies, but then more mundanely, losing the money we're investing, losing relationships, losing our bodies, change. And that leads to our fear of having anything because we might lose it. Just explore for a minute when you think of things that you want to have or do. And is there any fear that you'll lose it? That it won't happen? And if so, just welcome that fear. Notice it. Are there things that you're not trying or attempting, good choice of words, doing, that are limited because of fear of failure, fear of it not happening, fear of it not happening the way you want it to happen? Just look at all the myriad of ways in your day that you're afraid of having something because of you're afraid of losing something. So why not go to the core of all those fears? The fear of death, the fear of the unknown. All major religions offer us some ideas, some solace around what happens when we die, to cut down the fear. I know Christianity and Buddhism better than others, and I don't know them that well, but they're all based on ideas of if you do this, this, and this, there'll be life everlasting. The next reincarnation will be better. They offer the possibility of working with that fear of death. But we can work with the fear of death ourselves by first acknowledging that it's there. The fear of the unknown. We may say, oh, we're not afraid of dying. I mean, I've said this a number of times. We're just afraid of being sick. We're afraid of losing control. We're afraid that it'll be painful. And I realize on more reflection that I am afraid of those things. But behind it is, if I go deeper, that's true. But if I go deeper, there is fear of death. It's all over, folks. For the body. There is a belief that something continues beyond the body. And each of us who open to that possibility, have different ideas based on our experiences, our reading, our families, about what happens next. My parents believed that the end was there, that when they died it was all over. And so they went through a lot of suffering about what's going to happen. Dead is dead. Another friend of mine said that she had felt dead during her childhood and didn't ever want to feel that way again. But we can't conceive of death because the deadness we know in our childhood or in our lives is in relation to having a body and a mind. So I invite you to explore your fear of death openly. To explore the levels that you've built, or I know I've built, around, well, yes, but that, but this, but that, but this, but that. But to sit just in front of the fear of death. One of the things I have liked about Buddhism is the way in which they make that a practice of opening to your fear of death. So could you just explore that fear and notice how it relates to other things? Could you open to the possibility that there is the unknown and there's the fear of death, being human, but that it doesn't have to constrict us and rule our lives? That by working with our fear on that really basic level, we can release the other fears and come to a place where we might even be excited, anticipate the possibility of death being something wonderful. One of the wonderful things about aging is that it forces you to open to the possibility that you're going to die one of these days. Your friends are dying of disease or old age, quote unquote. And the reality that we're all going to die as we watch things that we love, people that we love, animals that we love, beliefs that we love die or change, that our time's coming too. There's something comforting to look at all my friends that are my age and older, to know that we're all in this together. Because I couldn't have said that, well, folks said it to me when I was younger, but that's just old people or whatever. But with so many changes in the world and so death of so many beliefs, it's hard to ignore death these days. And I think it also motivates that fear, motivates fears around what's happening and not happening in the world. So again, could you open to your fear of death? And then could you dive deeper into it? Notice how it feels in the body, what the mind's reaction is. What if you don't exist anymore? You're not going to. You may exist in another form, but this form is not going to exist. So I invite you to explore it with joy and possibility. And the possibility that you may find that by opening to that fear, you can release all the other fears and begin to truly have. There's the old expression that the way you die is the way you live, the way you live is the way you die. I want to live fully, right to the end of this precious life. And I understand that facing that basic fear of death will allow me to live fully, to have, and to be without limitations. Thank you.